Welcome to the deep dive. If you are trying to navigate the choppy waters of modern healthcare finance, you definitely know that leadership is demanding growth and patient volume.
Big time.
But
Right.
simultaneously, the marketing budget seems to be shrinking faster than ice cream in the summer sun. It's a real challenge.
It really is.
So today, we're taking a deep dive into that exact dilemma. We're looking at how hospitals and health systems can actually drive meaningful growth despite these massive financial constraints.
Yeah, the central conflict defining healthcare right now, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been calling it the healthcare marketing paradox,
The paradox. I like that.
and we've synthesized a fantastic stack of sources, really digging into creative, free, or extremely low-budget strategies that genuinely move the needle.
Okay.
This whole deep dive is really an exploration of how constraint doesn't necessarily mean surrender.
Mm-hmm.
Often, it actually forces a brilliant, hyper-focused strategy. You have to get creative.
Okay, let's unpack this core tension immediately then, this paradox. On one side, you have health system leaders who, frankly, have never had higher expectations for their marketing teams.
Never.
You are expected to drive patient volume, fill specific high-margin service line gaps. We're talking orthopedics, cardiology, those key areas.
The big revenue drivers.
Exactly. And build consistent physician referral pipelines. And the key part, they have to translate directly into substantial, measurable downstream revenue. No more fuzzy metrics.
Absolutely. And this huge demand is crashing right into an unavoidable financial reality. Budgets are tightening significantly across the board.
Why specifically? What are the main drivers?
Well, it's driven by these massive industry-wide constraints. The big three problems really dominating the conversation right now are, one, soaring labor costs, which are just squeezing operational margins everywhere.
Mm-mm.
Two, declining reimbursements from payers. That's a constant pressure. And three, the continuous sort of non-negotiable pressure to invest millions in new, often crucial medical technology. Can't fall behind there.
No, you really can't.
So when leadership has to find savings, make those tough cuts, the marketing budget is frequently seen as, well, the easiest place to find immediate savings, rightly or wrongly.
So we've got these unprecedented expectations meeting unprecedented financial restraint. That's the core paradox.
That's it.
Our mission then in this deep dive is to provide you, the listener, with an actionable roadmap. We've got 7 specific strategies lined up.
Yep, 7.
And they're either totally free or require only minimal staff time. The idea is to prove that sharp focus and maybe even strategic constraint can still deliver measurable real-world results.
Constraint breeds creativity sometimes.
Let's hope so. Where do we start?
Let's start right where almost every modern patient journey begins. The digital front door.
Okay, part 1. Building the digital foundation. Our first strategy focuses here specifically on simple SEO moves. The goal being to capture patients who are already searching for care online.
Makes sense.
But why is focusing time and energy on SEO, which, let's be honest, often feels like a long game investment, why is that the top low budget priority? It seems counterintuitive, maybe.
Yeah, it's a great question. And it's fascinating because SEO, unlike, say, paid advertising, is fundamentally a compounding investment.
Compounding how?
Well, you should almost view it as a form of cash flow management for marketing. Think about it. When you stop paying for a Google ad campaign, what happens?
The traffic stops immediately.
Exactly. The traffic stops dead. And that acquisition cost you paid, it's 100% sunk, gone.
Right.
But a well-optimized web page, one that ranks organically for relevant terms, it just keeps drawing in qualified patients day after day, week after week. It converts that initial investment of staff time into perpetual, essentially free traffic over the long haul. And the data backs this up strongly. MD Connect data shows that something like 77% of online health researchers start their journey on search engines.
Wow, that high, 77%.
Yeah. So if you aren't optimizing your visibility there, you're either losing that potential patient entirely to a competitor who is visible, or you're forcing yourself to pay a much, much higher acquisition cost to maybe get them back later through expensive ads. SEO is about reducing that future cost.
So we're trying to sort of future-proof the marketing budget a bit by making these smart structural fixes today.
Precisely. It's foundational work.
Okay, so what are the specific no-budget actions that marketing teams, even if they only have, say, a few hours a week to dedicate to this, what should they prioritize?
All right, number 1 is mastering keyword specificity. This is huge.
Specificity, okay.
You absolutely have to stop relying on those vague, high-level terms that maybe your clinical teams use internally. Patients don't type orthopedics department of XYZ hospital into Google.
No, they type their problem, right?
Exactly. They type their problem, knee hurts when I run, or best hospital for hip surgery. So you need to audit your existing service line pages, really look at them, and refresh them using condition-specific keywords that reflect these high-intent search queries. Queries someone uses when they're close to making a decision.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Instead of just a page vaguely about orthopedic services, you need to optimize for phrases like, say, minimally invasive hip replacement surgery in Raleigh, if you're in Raleigh, or urgent care for pediatric broken arm near me.
Got it. Much more specific.
That level of specificity drastically improves your ranking for someone who is actively looking and probably ready to schedule an appointment soon.
That's a really key distinction, moving from describing the department name to actually addressing the patient's immediate, often painful problem.
Precisely. And the second action flows directly from that. Add robust FAQ sections to those service pages.
Add FAQs.
But critically, use conversational, patient-centric language. These sections shouldn't just be like hospital policy jargon or procedural rules.
Right.
They need to reflect exactly how real patients ask questions in real life. How long will I be off work after? Or what are the risks of?
And why is that conversational style so important?
Well, two reasons. One, it helps your pages appear in voice search results, people asking Siri or Alexa.
Ah, interesting.
And two, it helps you capture Google's featured snippets, those answer boxes at the top of the search results. We saw great examples in the sources, things like, how long is recovery for a complex knee replacement? Or when should I call a cardiologist after experiencing chest pain?
Very specific, action-oriented questions.
Yeah, these conversational queries capture users much further down the funnel when they're highly motivated to find clear answers and, importantly, book care.
Makes sense. And you mentioned a foundational element earlier that costs nothing but compliance.
Absolutely non-negotiable.
Oh.
And yet, you'd be surprised how often it's neglected or incomplete. Local visibility.
Okay.
Every single clinic location, every specialty office, every urgent care center must have a claimed and meticulously optimized Google business profile.
What does optimized mean in this context?
It means consistent, accurate hours, especially crucial now, accurate phone numbers, direct appointment links if possible, and comprehensive service listings. What do you actually do there?
And why Google business profile specifically?
Because Google heavily prioritizes local businesses in its search results, particularly on mobile searches, which are, dominant now.
Right. Near me searches.
Exactly. Optimizing these profiles gives you a massive, immediate boost to local search visibility and builds credibility. It's essential for capturing patients seeking care within, say, a 5 or 10 mile radius. It's free real estate on Google.
Okay, so we've done the foundational work. Keyword specificity, patient query, FAQs, claimed Google profiles. How do we monitor this? How do we ensure that initial time investment continues to compound and doesn't just fade away?
Great question. You absolutely have to monitor. And the good news is, you utilize the powerful free tools Google itself gives you.
Like what?
Google Search Console is your best friend here. Seriously.
Okay.
It shows you exactly which search queries patients are using to find your pages. But just as importantly, it shows you which queries you're missing out on, where you appeared but didn't get clicked or didn't rank high enough. That's gold.
Ah, so it tells you where the gaps are.
Precisely. Then you use Google Trends. This helps you identify rising or seasonal health topics. Think about flu shot queries in the fall or allergy searches ramping up in the spring.
Right.
Use those insights to guide your iterative improvement of those FAQ sections we talked about. Keep them fresh and relevant to what people are searching for now. You can monitor performance and quickly focus your limited content efforts where they'll have the biggest impact.
And reviews. You mentioned those briefly.
Yes, critically important for local SEO and trust. Establish a clear protocol for monitoring and responding to Google reviews on those business profiles.
Responding to all of them. Good and bad.
Ideally, yes. That active engagement, thanking for positive reviews, addressing concerns and negative ones, thoughtfully, it not only boosts credibility with potential patients reading them.
Which we know they do.
Right. But it also signals to Google's algorithm that you are a highly active, engaged, credible business serving the local community. And that helps your rankings. It's all connected. So that strong digital foundation, especially the focus on discoverability and trust through SEO and Google profiles, leads us directly into tactic 2.
Okay.
And this one is arguably the highest impact, lowest cost strategy available if you can pull it off operationally.
All right, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Turning your physicians into influencers.
Ah, okay. using your internal experts. The trust factor here must be massive, right?
It's absolutely
Yeah.
huge. We live in an era where trust in large institutions is, well, often pretty low.
Unfortunately, yeah.
But study after study shows that patients overwhelmingly trust individual clinicians. Their doctor, their nurse practitioner.
So a polished ad might not land the same way.
Exactly. A professionally polished, maybe slightly generic, hospital advertisement often elicits a degree of skepticism now. What are they selling me? But a simple direct video from a physician, maybe Dr. Chen, answering a common question about managing diabetes that feels instantly more authentic, more trustworthy. It just collapses the distance between the patient and the potential care provider.
It feels more real.
It feels real. And the key insight here, especially for low budget, is prioritizing authenticity over high production value.
So don't worry about fancy cameras and lighting.
Definitely not. You don't need fancy studio lighting or expensive editing software. In fact, our sources suggest that candid, even slightly unpolished videos, maybe recorded quickly on a smartphone between patients, often feel more relatable, more approachable.
Interesting. Less intimidating, perhaps.
Exactly. They show the human side of healthcare. Patients respond profoundly better, generally, to direct, honest messages from a trusted doctor they might actually see. This simple act humanizes the physician and starts building a relationship long before the patient even steps into the exam room.
Okay, but let me introduce the element of friction here. Because this sounds great in theory, but it runs right into the core problem we're trying to solve. Constraint.
Ah, the operational challenge.
Tactic 2 requires significant input, or at least time, from busy, highly compensated, extremely time-constrained clinicians, doctors, surgeons, specialists.
People with the least amount of free time in the building.
Exactly. So how do we overcome the immense internal resistance, the scheduling nightmares, the "I don't have time for this" pushback that makes this tactic seem almost impossible to implement consistently for an already strained hospital system?
That is the absolute essential operational challenge you have to solve for this to work. It's not about the idea, it's about the execution.
Right.
The solution lies in minimizing the physician's time commitment to the absolute bare minimum required, while simultaneously maximizing the output from that minimal time. Efficiency is paramount.
Okay, how do you do that practically?
It means dedicated content capture sessions that are ruthlessly efficient. A marketer, or maybe a communication specialist, should book, say, 30 minutes with a physician. Not an hour, 30 minutes.
Okay.
Come prepared with a list of maybe 6 or 7 of the most common patient questions for their specialty questions. The front desk or nurses get asked constantly.
Right, the ones they answer every day anyway.
Precisely. And the goal is to capture their answers to those questions in rapid succession, one after another. The doctor should not write a script. That kills the authenticity.
Just answer naturally.
Just answer conversationally, exactly as they would if a patient asked them that question in the exam room. Short, clear, direct answers. 30 minutes, 6 answers recorded. Done.
So we're using the marketing staff time to manage the efficiency in the tech, not demanding script writing or complex production from the clinician.
Exactly. The marketer handles the phone, the framing, maybe a simple lapel mic, and the question prompts. The clinician just provides their expertise quickly.
Okay, so we managed to get that 60-second clip, maybe 90 seconds, from Dr. Smith talking about colonoscopy prep. Now what? Where does it go to maximize impact?
Now you unleash the multiplicative effect of content. Don't just post it once and forget it.
Okay.
Post the primary video on your main hospital social media channels, Facebook, maybe LinkedIn if it's relevant professionally.
Yeah.
That's step 1.
Standard practice.
But then, embed that exact video onto the corresponding service line webpage. That video from Dr. Smith about colonoscopy prep, it adds instant credibility and a human touch right there on the gastroenterology page where people are looking for info.
Connects the expert directly to the service.
Smart. Then, slice short 15-second snippets or key quotes from the video. Turn those into Instagram Reels or maybe even TikToks, depending on your audience and platform strategy. Use the automatically generated transcript. Most video platforms offer this now to create a quick companion blog post summarizing the key points.
Okay, getting more mileage.
Inject snippets of the content or a link to the video into your patient email newsletters. And crucially, empower and actively encourage your physicians to share that content via their own professional social media profiles, like LinkedIn.
Why is that physician sharing piece so important?
Because it dramatically expands your reach beyond the hospital's immediate followers. Their network often includes other referring physicians, colleagues, and potentially highly engaged local community members who trust their judgment. It's borrowed credibility again.
We've stressed the lo-fi authentic approach, but are there any key implementation tips for maximizing the impact of these quick videos, technically speaking?
Yes, a few simple things make a big difference. First, focus is everything. Keep the video short, ideally 60 to 90 seconds, as we said, and laser focused on answering one single clear question per video. Don't try to cover too much.
One question, one video. Got it.
Second, ensure simple, accurate captioning is available. This is non-negotiable now. Data consistently shows that the vast majority of people scroll through social media feeds with the sound off.
Right, watching in public or quiet environments.
Exactly. Viewers must be able to absorb the key information without relying on audio. Simple captions make it accessible.
Good point.
Now, always include a crystal clear call to action, or CTA. It doesn't have to be aggressive, but tell people what you want them to do next. It could be as simple as, to learn more, visit the link in our bio, or to schedule a consultation, visit our website at xyz.com. Make it obvious.
Don't leave them hanging.
Never leave them hanging. And finally, the pro tip that saves immense time and effort in the long run: strategic storage and organization. Build a centralized, easily searchable content library of these clinician video responses. Tag them meticulously by topic, by physician, by specialty, maybe even by seasonality, like flu season tips.
So you can find them again easily.
Exactly. This allows your team to easily find, repurpose, reuse, and repost relevant videos for seasonal topics or recurring campaigns later, without ever having to pull that busy physician away from their practice to re-record something they already answered 6 months ago. Build the asset library once, use it many times.
Okay. We've built the digital foundation with SEO, and we've started leveraging internal trust by turning clinicians into authentic influencers. Now we need to move into a really critical area for both revenue retention and growth.
Where are we headed?
Let's talk about physician referrals. Tactic 3 is all about building a consistent referral engine, not just running sporadic, one-off campaigns aimed at doctors.
Yes. The long game of relationships.
And the data you shared from the sources on the leakage problem associated with referrals is, well, frankly staggering.
It really should keep health system CFOs awake at night. It's often a silent drain, but it is absolutely massive. The sources consistently highlight that health systems routinely lose anywhere from 10 to 30% of their potential patient revenue simply because their own employed physicians or affiliated physicians refer patients out to competing systems or independent specialists.
10 to 30%, that's millions, potentially billions, depending on the system size.
Exactly. Millions of dollars walking out the door every single quarter. Money that theoretically should stay within the health system's network if the right services and relationships exist.
And it's not just about keeping patients in-network. The influence of external physicians in driving patient behavior towards a specific hospital or specialist is immense too, right?
Huge. That Mayo Clinic study we looked at was eye-opening. It found that external physicians, independent PCPs, community specialists, influence nearly 47% of new patient referrals, especially for complex procedures, specialized imaging, things like that.
Almost half.
Almost half. It underscores that the personal relationship, the trust between the referring physician and the specialist or hospital system, is arguably the ultimate low-cost, high-return marketing lever you can pull.
So neglecting those relationships is like leaving money on the table.
Tons of money.
Yeah.
We absolutely must recognize that these referral relationships are long-term assets, not just transactions. A single, loyal, referring primary care physician, if you nurture that relationship over years, can generate dozens, maybe even hundreds, of appropriate patient cases for your specialists.
Wow.
The lifetime value of that relationship yields an outsized return that far, far exceeds the impact of any single temporary ad campaign aimed at patients. So we need to focus on consistent, low-cost touch points that reinforce partnership and trust.
Okay, let's get practical then. What are the specific actionable items for creating those high-return touch points that don't involve, a huge budget for lavish dinners or expensive golf outings anymore?
Right. Those days are largely gone for many systems. It starts with consistency and, crucially, relevance in communication. Create a simple, targeted monthly or perhaps quarterly email update that is designed specifically and only for your local referring physicians.
Not the general patient newsletter.
Absolutely not. This cannot be generic marketing fluff. It needs to be packed with information they value. That means including things like new service offerings they should know about, maybe a new specialist who joined.
What else?
Hard patient outcomes data if you can share it appropriately. Show them their patients are receiving excellent care when referred to you. Details on process improvements you've made, maybe simplifying the referral process itself or improving communication back to them. That makes their lives easier.
Focusing on their workflow.
Yes. And include brief success stories, anonymized, of course, that highlight complex cases you successfully managed, reinforcing your capabilities. This whole package positions your hospital not just as an option, but as a reliable, high-quality partner in their patients' care.
That's about building their confidence and sending patients your way. What about making it more personal? Email can feel a bit impersonal.
Great point. You should never underestimate the power of the personal touch, even in a digital age. Implement a simple system where key clinical leaders,
Like who?
maybe the chief of a particular service line like cardiology, or even a highly active specialist physician, takes a few minutes each month to send personalized, handwritten thank you notes.
Handwritten, really?
Yes, or make a quick, direct outreach call to local physicians who recently referred a particularly high-value patient, or perhaps a patient with very complex needs.
What does that achieve?
It reinforces the personal bond. It goes beyond the purely transactional nature of the referral itself. It makes that referring physician feel seen, respected, and genuinely valued as a colleague. It stands out.
Okay, that's low cost, high impact. What about positioning the hospital as a leader?
Yes, becoming an educational resource is key to being seen as the go-to regional leader, not just another provider.
How?
Host educational webinars. These can be very low cost to produce, specifically targeted at primary care providers, PCPs, or other relevant community physicians in your area.
On what topics?
Focus on cutting-edge developments or highly relevant clinical topics in your key specialties. Things like advancements in minimally invasive cardiac procedures, new non-opioid treatments for chronic pain, updates in pediatric urgent care, or maybe women's health breakthroughs. Things they need to know to advise their patients.
Providing value to them directly.
Exactly. You could even explore offering low-cost or potentially free continuing medical education, CME credits, for attending these webinars. That's a huge value add for busy physicians. It positions your hospital not just as a care destination people get sent to, but as an indispensable knowledge partner they rely on. That builds immense trust and dependency over time.
This all sounds effective, but it also sounds like it could add administrative burden, especially the tracking and personalization piece, to already strained marketing or physician relations teams. How do we track and tailor this referral engine without creating a new monster?
That's the balancing act. Tracking is absolutely non-negotiable for this to be strategic, but it must be streamlined.
What needs to be tracked?
You need a system often integrated with your CRM or even EHR referral data to track referral sources over time. Who is referring patients? How often are they referring? And critically, for which specific services or specialties?
And what does that data tell you?
This data helps you identify your top 20% of referrers, the loyal partners who deserve the most dedicated attention, the handwritten notes, the personal calls. It focuses your limited relationship-building resources where they have the biggest impact.
Focus on the high-yield relationships.
Right. But just as importantly, perhaps more importantly, you must actively solicit direct feedback from your referring physicians. Don't just push information out.
Ask them what they need.
Yes. Ask them what information or support they would find most helpful. Let them guide your content development for those email updates or webinars. And actively, proactively, solicit feedback on systemic barriers they encounter when trying to refer to you.
Like what kind of barriers?
Is scheduling a new patient consult too difficult or time-consuming for their staff? Is your follow-up communication back to them after they refer, letting them know what happened with their patient lacking or inconsistent?
The operational friction points again.
Exactly. Addressing those operational frictions, making it easier for them to work with you, is often the single most powerful, lowest-cost relationship builder you can invest in. Fixing a broken referral process might be worth more than 10 fancy dinners.
Okay, so we've established the foundation of digital traffic through SEO, we're leveraging internal clinician trust, and we're building that crucial referral engine. Now let's talk about the decision-making process for patients once they've perhaps identified potential providers, maybe through search or a referral.
Right. Consideration phase.
Exactly. Tactic 4 is all about amplifying word of mouth, but in the modern sense, using social proof. Online reviews, testimonials.
This is absolutely critical, maybe more than ever, because online reviews have essentially become the new digital word-of-mouth referral engine.
Really? That powerful?
Yes. And patients are heavily basing their decisions on them, especially for non-emergency care, where they have time to research. Our sources reveal some pretty stark numbers. 59% of patients say they rely heavily on online reviews when choosing a new provider or hospital.
Wow, almost 6 out of 10.
And maybe even more telling, if high-quality recent reviews are lacking for a particular doctor or service line, patients may actually delay making an appointment or avoid that provider altogether and choose someone else with better reviews.
So a lack of good reviews is a direct barrier to access.
It absolutely is.
Yeah.
A robust, positive online reputation is arguably the most effective way to reduce the perceived risk for a potential new patient who doesn't know you yet. It builds trust before they even call.
Okay, so if reviews are that critical, how does a constrained marketing team effectively generate that positive feedback consistently without investing heavily in expensive reputation management software suites?
The focus must be on making it incredibly simple and accessible for satisfied patients to leave feedback, right at the peak of their positive experience. Frictionless is the key word.
How do you make it frictionless?
You need a streamlined process. Encourage reviews on the platforms that matter most, usually Google, maybe Health Grades, Yelp, or other relevant specialty-specific platforms depending on your focus.
And how do you encourage them? Just ask.
You ask via simple, automated follow-up communications. This usually means sending a brief follow-up email or maybe even a text message, perhaps 24 to 48 hours after an appointment or discharge.
And what's in that message?
It should be short, appreciative, and include direct, simple links or even QR codes that take the patient straight to the review page for that specific doctor or location. Make the process 1 or 2 clicks maximum. Don't make them hunt for it.
Remove all the barriers.
Exactly. Minimize the effort required on their part.
Okay, that helps generate new online reviews. But while we're waiting for those to build up, how can we leverage positive feedback we might already have, maybe from internal surveys or comments?
Great question. You absolutely must capture and strategically use internal testimonials and positive comments you receive through other channels.
How? Where?
Display anonymized quotes or patient testimonials prominently. Put them in waiting room digital signage. Feature them in your monthly patient newsletters. Sprinkle them across your social media channels.
With permission, obviously.
Always with explicit consent, of course. Document that consent. Also, consider empowering and training your frontline staff. Think about the discharge nurse having a positive interaction, or the front desk scheduler who helps solve a problem.
What do they do?
Gently remind satisfied patients, perhaps right at the point of discharge or during a positive follow-up call, that their story and positive feedback genuinely help other patients who might be feeling anxious or uncertain about seeking care. Frame it as helping others.
That's a nice angle.
It turns your staff, who are already having these interactions, into low-cost, authentic reputation advocates.
The sources we looked at really emphasize that generating reviews is only half the battle. Reputation management, they argued, is truly defined by the response, especially how you handle negative feedback.
Oh, absolutely. The response is everything. It speaks volumes about the organization's culture and commitment to patient experience.
How so?
Because the way a hospital or a physician group responds to feedback publicly often matters just as much, if not more, than the content of the original review itself, especially to other potential patients reading those reviews later.
So what's the right way to respond?
You must have a process to publicly acknowledge all feedback promptly, ideally within a day or two. Thank patients sincerely for positive comments. It reinforces goodwill and encourages more.
And the negative ones, that's the tricky part.
That's where you build trust. When addressing negative reviews, approach them not defensively, but with sincere appreciation for the feedback and a clear commitment to openness and improvement. A strong response never argues the specific points in public.
So what does it do?
It typically acknowledges the patient's experience, expresses empathy, and briefly outlines concrete, measurable steps you are taking internally to investigate the matter and improve the process based on their feedback. It shows you're listening and taking action. This public demonstration of accountability instantly builds credibility with future patients reading those reviews. It shows you take patient experience seriously, even when things go wrong.
That makes a lot of sense. And we also need to address the recency factor you mentioned earlier. An amazing review from, say, 2018 doesn't carry much weight today, does it?
No, it really doesn't. Recency is crucial because it signals current relevance and ongoing quality assurance. Your digital presence, your website, your social media feeds must consistently feature reviews and testimonials from the past 6 to 12 months.
Why that time frame?
Because outdated testimonials start to feel irrelevant. They create doubt. Patients want reassurance that the high-quality, compassionate, accountable care they are seeking is happening now, not just years ago. So make it a routine operational task for the marketing team to update which testimonials are highlighted across your digital properties. Keep it fresh. Okay, now let's pivot slightly. We've talked about generating new content like reviews and physician videos. Now let's talk about optimizing the resources we already have, especially the highly valuable content often created by our clinicians and internal experts that might be underutilized.
Getting more bang for the buck from existing assets.
Exactly. Tactic 5 is all about working smarter, not harder. It's about repurposing existing content into multiple formats to extend its reach and lifespan.
What's fascinating here, based on the sources, is this idea you called the untapped library insight. Hospitals and health systems often create incredibly rich, detailed, expert-driven educational content. Think about patient brochures for complex procedures, or detailed slide presentations clinicians give for internal education or grand rounds, or even comprehensive patient discharge instructions.
Stuff that took a lot of expert time to create.
Right, but what often happens to that content?
Too often, it has a very short lifespan. It gets used once, handed out, presented, and then immediately dies, filed away on a shared drive somewhere, never to be seen again.
And that content has already absorbed the most expensive resource in the entire hospital system?
Highly constrained clinical time and expertise, doctor time, nurse educator time, pharmacist time.
That is the crucial connection point we need to hammer home, isn't it?
Absolutely. We must frame content repurposing not just as a nice-to-have marketing activity, but as optimizing the utilization of the most expensive resource in the hospital.
Yeah.
It's about ensuring that 1 hour of a cardiologist's time spent creating one piece of really solid educational material on heart failure management doesn't just result in one brochure. It should generate maybe 5 or even 10 different patient touch points across various channels and formats. Maximize that initial investment.
Okay, so what are some of the most effective, low-budget ways to actually do that? How do we repackage this existing material efficiently? Let's start with those complex documents, like a dense presentation.
Okay, great example. Take those documents that required significant initial clinical input, like that detailed physician slide presentation on, say, different joint replacement options. It's packed with info, but maybe too dense for a patient as is.
Right.
You can convert that dense material into at least 3 easily digestible formats with minimal extra effort. First, extract the key patient-facing information and turn it into a downloadable PDF patient guide.
Okay, more user-friendly.
Second, pull out the practical steps or key takeaways and create a simple pre-procedure checklist for patients. What do they need to do?
Actionable.
And third, summarize the main benefits or comparison points into a visually appealing infographic using a free tool like Canva, perfect for sharing on social media or in emails. Boom, 3 new pieces of valuable content from one original asset, reaching different people in different ways.
That's smart. Okay, what about long-form written content, like maybe an in-depth blog post or a white paper? How do we make that more snackable for today's audiences?
You apply the slice and dice method. Take that long-form blog post, perhaps an authoritative piece written by a nutritionist on preventative care diets, or by a pulmonologist on managing COPD, and slice it up.
Into what?
Into a series of maybe 5 to 7 short, punchy social media posts. Each post highlights one specific tip, statistic, or key takeaway from the original article. Optimize each snippet for the specific platform, maybe shorter for Twitter, slightly longer, with an image for Facebook or LinkedIn.
So one article fuels a week's worth of social content.
Exactly. This maintains a consistent educational presence online without the burden of needing to research and write 5 entirely new, comprehensive articles from scratch. You can also easily transform text-heavy patient educational brochures into visually engaging infographic-style one-pagers. Again, use free tools. These are far more shareable and digestible via email or social media than a standard multi-page PDF document.
And you mentioned the audio element earlier as well. How does that fit into repurposing?
Absolutely. Audio is a fantastic way to tap into a completely different audience segment and make content more accessible.
How?
Create simple audio versions of key patient education articles or blog posts. These don't need high production value. They can be narrated clearly by a marketing staff member, a communications person, or even a trained volunteer with a clear voice.
And where would you share these audio clips?
Share them as short, focused podcast segments, maybe a Health Tip of the Week mini podcast, or embed the audio clips directly onto the relevant pages of your website alongside the text.
Who is this reaching?
This taps into the growing auditory audience, people who are commuting, exercising, cooking, or simply prefer listening over reading. And you're doing it using content you already own and have fully vetted for clinical accuracy. It's pure efficiency. Content repurposing done systematically maximizes the utility and lifespan of your existing work, maintains brand consistency across channels, and critically preserves precious clinical and marketing team time.
Okay, this sounds powerful, but if we start multiplying content like this, turning one presentation into 3 pieces, one article into 5 posts, how do we prevent total chaos? How do we keep track of everything and ensure we know what we have, where it is, and what's working?
The operational backbone again. The implementation tip here is simple in concept, but absolutely essential for scaling this effectively. Maintain a rigorous, centralized inventory of all your existing content assets.
A content library.
Call it a content library, an asset management system, whatever works. But tag everything systematically. By topic, diabetes management, knee replacement. By intended audience, new patient, referring physician. By the clinical contributor or source. By format, e.g. video, infographic, blog post, audio clip.
So you can find things easily.
So you can find things easily and see the connections. But then crucially, you must monitor performance. Don't just create and forget. Track which specific format or channel for a repurposed piece drives the most valuable follow-up action.
What kind of actions?
Downloads the guide, clicks on the CTA link in the social post, sign-ups for the related webinar, maybe even appointment requests originating from that page. Is it the short social media clip that gets the highest reach? Or is it the downloadable checklist that actually generates qualified leads?
And what do you do with that performance data?
That data allows you to continuously refine your repurposing strategy over time. You learn what works best for specific topics and audiences, ensuring you are constantly focusing your limited repurposing efforts on the formats and channels that deliver the highest ROI. Double down on what's effective.
This focus on efficiency, maximizing clinician input, and repurposing content leads us quite nicely into tactic number 6.
Okay, where are we now?
Hosting virtual community Q&As. This feels like it really merges the authenticity we talked about with physician influencers.
Tactic 2.
Right, with the broader reach and educational goals of community outreach and content generation.
It's an absolutely brilliant, low-cost blend, I think. Live virtual Q&A sessions using really accessible platforms that people already use, like Facebook Live, Zoom webinars, maybe YouTube Live.
Platforms that don't require a huge tech investment.
Exactly. They give your clinicians direct, real-time access to the community to answer their questions directly. This builds a phenomenal amount of trust and subtly showcases your hospital's or clinic's expertise without ever feeling like a hard sales pitch.
Because it's providing direct value.
It's pure value. It allows community members to ask those deeply personal, yet often generalized, health questions they might have directly to a trusted expert, anonymously if needed, depending on the platform.
The low-cost nature comes from using these readily available platforms. But what does a successful Q&A look like from a strategic marketing perspective? How do you set it up for success?
They need to be scheduled strategically around seasonal or highly topical health subjects, where you know the community already has heightened interest and questions.
Examples.
Think about doing a Q&A with an orthopedic surgeon about common skiing or snowboarding injuries right before winter sports season kicks off, or a session with an allergist in the spring. Or maybe tips for managing chronic diseases like diabetes during the holiday season or before insurance open enrollment. Timing matters.
Tap into existing interest.
Right. The marketer's job, primarily, is to handle the logistics. Schedule the session, secure the clinician's time again, keeping it focused, maybe 30-45 minutes of Q&A, handle the promotion to get people to attend live, and manage the tech during the session.
And collecting questions.
Yes, you should absolutely solicit questions ahead of time when you promote the event. That gives the clinician some prep time for common themes, but also allow live questions during the session via chat or Q&A features.
And then, crucially, what happens after the live session ends? Is that it?
Oh no, that's just the beginning for the marketing team. You're back to the multiplicative effect again. That single live Q&A session should immediately feed the rest of your content engine. Those questions asked and the expert answers given are pure gold. They can be instantly transcribed, often automatically by the platform or using cheap tools, and then edited into multiple blog posts answering specific themes.
Yeah.
Short, specific answer segments. Maybe the doctor explaining a particular symptom or treatment option in 45 seconds become perfect standalone social media video clips. Tag the doctor, share widely.
More repurposing.
Exactly. The whole archive video of the session should live permanently on your hospital's YouTube channel or website resource center. This provides immense long-term SEO visibility for those questions and topics. People searching those questions months later might find your video answer.
So this one tactic really does tie a lot together.
It really does. It perfectly leverages the physician authenticity we sought back in Tactic 2.
The influencer effect.
Right. While simultaneously providing the high-value, question-based educational content we need for Tactic 5, the repurposing engine. It's incredibly efficient. It's high-trust marketing that generates patient leads, builds community of goodwill, and creates a wealth of reusable educational content all at the same time. It's a triple win.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground, focusing on digital foundations, internal assets like clinicians and content, and direct community engagement online. For our final tactic, number 7, let's look outward again.
Broadening the scope.
Yes, we're moving beyond purely digital or hospital-owned channels. Tactic 7 is all about partnering with local organizations for shared reach and credibility.
Ah, the power of partnerships. This tactic is brilliant, especially in a low-budget environment, because it involves strategically borrowing credibility and expanding your reach without having to pay directly to acquire new audiences.
Borrowing credibility, how does that work?
You leverage the existing networks and, importantly, the existing trust that people already have in established community institutions. Think about local schools, popular specialized fitness centers or gyms, well-attended senior centers, maybe even large local employers or church groups.
Places people already gather and trust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By partnering with them, the hospital or health system effectively transfers some of its expertise and brand trust through that established community connection. People think, if my trusted community center is hosting this health talk from Hospital X, then Hospital X must be okay.
It lowers the barrier to engagement.
Precisely. It meets people where they already are, physically and mentally.
So what are some of the best no-budget or very low-budget actions for actually doing this? How do you meet people where they are effectively?
Well, free health screenings are the absolute classic high-return example here. They offer tangible value and create an interaction point.
What kind of screenings?
Simple things. Offer free blood pressure checks, BMI readings, maybe basic glucose screenings at community health fairs, church events, or setting up a table for an hour at a local gym.
But the key is strategic partnership selection, right? Not just showing up anywhere.
Absolutely critical. Don't just go to any random event or gym. Be strategic. Partner with a local CrossFit box or a running club to offer injury prevention talks or quick screenings that directly targets a young, physically active audience potentially needing orthopedics or sports medicine down the line.
Makes sense.
Or partner with a senior center to offer mobility and balance assessments focused on fall prevention, directly reaching an audience concerned with aging safely and potentially needing geriatric or rehab services. Tailor the partnership to the audience you want to reach.
And beyond screenings, educational partnerships seem like they could provide deeper, maybe more lasting value.
Absolutely. Partner with local schools or universities on co-hosted wellness workshops, maybe mental health seminars for students or parents. Or offer specific injury prevention clinics for high school athletes, highlighting your sports medicine program or pediatric orthopedics expertise.
What about partnerships with other wellness organizations?
Yes. Another really effective, super low-lift strategy is simple cross-promotion. Find complementary local wellness organizations, maybe a yoga studio, a healthy cooking school, a mental health advocacy group.
And do what?
Offer to share their relevant article or event information in your hospital's patient newsletter or social channels. And in exchange, ask them to share your hospital's upcoming educational event, screening information, or relevant blog post in their channels.
Ah, tapping into each other's audiences.
Exactly. It instantly multiplies your exposure across highly relevant, often overlapping audiences at virtually zero financial cost. Just requires coordination.
Okay, these partnership ideas sound great, but sustainability is always key, especially for a constrained team. The last thing anyone needs is a series of exhausting, one-off community events that feel good, but yield no measurable long-term results or connections. How do we ensure these partnerships are sticky and productive?
Yeah, sustainability requires operationalizing the partnership process. Don't reinvent the wheel every time. Develop a simple, replicable partnership proposal, template, or checklist.
What's in that?
This document clearly outlines exactly what the hospital is offering. Maybe Dr. Jones for a 30-minute talk on heart health, 2 nurses to conduct blood pressure screenings for an hour, and just as importantly, it clarifies what the partner organization needs to contribute, usually the venue. Ensuring audience access or promotion to their members may be basic logistical help.
Setting clear expectations up front.
Exactly. Clear expectations up front save massive amounts of time, confusion, and frustration later on both sides. It professionalizes the interaction.
And once the event happens, clear follow-up must be mandated, right? Not just packing up and leaving.
Absolutely critical.
Okay.
You must set clear protocols for your staff participating in these events. What is the goal beyond just being present? Usually it's about making connections. Gather contact details from interested participants whenever possible, and appropriate, maybe, through a sign-up sheet for a follow-up email with resources or a raffle entry. Always request explicit permission to send follow-up educational materials related to the topic. You could even include QR codes or info on scheduling basic services, like a screening mammogram right then and there if relevant.
Connecting the event to action.
Yes. And finally, close the loop by tracking engagement. Did participants from these partnership events actually convert into tangible outcomes over, say, the next 6 months? Did they become new patients? Did they subscribe to your email list? Did they lead to any physician referrals?
Measuring the actual ROI of the time spent.
Precisely. That data is crucial for justifying the time investment internally and, importantly, for helping you identify and focus on the best, most productive long-term community partners rather than just scattering your efforts randomly. Invest where you see results.
Wow, this has been a really comprehensive look at how financial necessity can, and maybe even should, sharpen the strategic focus for healthcare marketers.
Yeah, it forces choices.
We've covered 7 distinct but interconnected, powerful strategies. We started with refining that crucial SEO foundation,
Getting found online.
then turning your own physicians into accessible, authentic influencers. We talked about building a consistent, relationship-driven referral engine, not just campaigns,
Plugging the leakage.
leveraging social proof through online reviews and testimonials, maximizing the utility of every piece of content through smart repurposing,
Working smarter.
hosting those engaging virtual Q&As to build community trust and generate content, and finally, making smart community partnerships to borrow credibility and reach.
It's a solid playbook for growth on a budget.
It really feels like it. These strategies genuinely prove that you can achieve real patient growth, real engagement, even with limited or shrinking budgets.
Absolutely. But, and this is important, but connecting back to the operational reality we touched on.
Especially with the physician influencers and content repurposing.
Exactly. Remember the operational strain we discussed in Tactics 2, 5, and 6. Moving from these sometimes scrappy wins, these individual successful tactics, to creating truly repeatable, predictable, and measurable growth across the board often requires a level of specialized support. Support that goes beyond the typical capacity of an internally constrained, maybe multitasking marketing team.
That feels like the critical pivot point, doesn't it? These low-cost tactics are undeniably powerful, but they still require highly skilled strategic planning, consistent execution, data analysis, and ongoing optimization to really scale.
They absolutely do. And that's often where the internal bandwidth just isn't there, especially when teams are stretched thin. This is precisely where specialized partners can potentially step in to provide that strategic bandwidth and execution capability the hospital might lack internally.
Partners focus specifically on this challenge.
Yes. Firms like Rave Health, for example, based on the source material, specialize in exactly this. Helping health systems maximize the impact of every single limited marketing dollar they have left. Their core function, as described, is to immediately work on reducing wasted spend.
Oh.
By applying really surgical precision targeting, using data and analytics for both patient acquisition audiences and those critical physician referral audiences we talked about. They aren't just running generic ads. They're optimizing the entire patient and referrer journey in real time, constantly tweaking campaigns to significantly improve the return on investment, the ROI.
So their expertise ensures that the limited budget that is available is laser-focused on hitting the exact high-value targets that will drive growth.
Precisely. They focus on building what the source is called dual impact marketing strategies, meaning they don't treat patient volume growth and physician referral development as two separate siloed activities.
They connect them.
They architect strategies designed to grow them simultaneously, recognizing the interplay between them. And by leveraging their deep experience, the source mentioned 20-plus years specifically in healthcare marketing, they can help systems strategically reallocate their limited budgets away from low-performing tactics towards high-value, measurable growth initiatives.
So that kind of external support can essentially enable hospitals to transition.
Yeah, potentially transition from feeling perpetually constrained and just trying to keep up to operating a much more efficient, data-driven, high-performing marketing machine. One designed not just to survive these tough financial times, but potentially to actually thrive and gain market share despite the challenges.
So, as we conclude this deep dive, let's just quickly revisit that initial paradox we started with. Remember,
High expectations, shrinking budget.
exactly. We established that those current financial constraints hitting hospitals are often driven significantly by two major factors: rising labor costs, nurses, techs, everyone, and that immense ongoing pressure to invest millions in new technology.
Right, the big squeezes. Now, if those pressures are the primary reason your marketing budget is being squeezed, think about what that implies for the solutions we just spent the last half hour discussing.
Okay, where are you going with this?
It means that the most effective low-cost solutions, we identified things like leveraging physician-generated video content, amplifying staff and patient testimonials, driving engagement through clinician Q&As, using internal experts for educational content.
The core of several tactics.
Right. These solutions rely entirely on effectively leveraging the very people, the physicians, the nurses, the frontline staff, and the internal assets that are already constrained and stressed by those exact same financial pressures driving the budget cuts in the first place.
Wow, that's a profound tension, a real catch-22.
Yeah.
We're essentially asking overworked staff and incredibly time-constrained clinicians, the people feeling the budget pressure most acutely, to now also be the primary engine of low-cost marketing growth.
It really crystallizes the challenge, doesn't it? And it raises a vital and I think very necessary question for you, the listener, our learner, to carry forward and really explore within your own organization.
What's the question?
How do you successfully and perhaps more importantly sustainably operationalize these 7 powerful, proven, low-cost tactics within your specific hospital or health system without simply adding an unsustainable amount of additional internal strain onto the clinical and operational teams you depend on most? The strategy itself seems clear now, perhaps. But the operationalizing of that strategy, leveraging your constrained human capital effectively and respectfully, that feels like the next big hurdle to overcome.
That is a perfect, challenging thought to end on, connecting the brilliant strategy back to the very real-world, operational, human challenge of making it happen. Thank you so much for unpacking all of that.
My pleasure.
And thank you for joining us on the deep dive. We truly hope this roadmap empowers you to start thinking about how to turn what feels like financial constraint into your next strategic competitive advantage.